lunch in a very traditional restaurant of Giverny. And then, of course, we have our tour to the magnificent gardens of Club de Monet. Ah, je sais pas s'ils vont voir. Hein. Donc, ouais, je comprends. And after the visit of Monet's house and gardens, we're going to come back to the hotel. All good? Great. So, I've seen 4 of you, I think. But it's always a different way to see the city with the daylight. Donc là, vous allez... on peut passer par Bromley et passer après, par là-bas. So we're going to now to continue a little bit further, and we're going to see... I'm not talking about the Eiffel Tower for the moment. You're really close to the Eiffel Tower. You must know by heart. And you're going to have the opportunity to visit it. But I would like you to see a little bit further the brand new museum in a way. Well, it's around 10 years old. Still, it's considered to be a brand new museum with a vertical garden. It's the museum here on the right. And it's called the Bromley Museum, dedicated to the exotic arts of Africa, Oceania. A very easily accessible museum. So somebody who enters here leaves behind him all the noise and the worries of the busy city. At the top of this museum there is one of the most beautiful restaurants called Les Ombres, the Shadows, with an amazing view, of course, to the Eiffel Tower. And donc on peut aller par exemple à gauche. C'est vrai que là, vous n'avez pas de chapeau, vous? Non? Alma Bridge, and we're going to arrive in the square, Alma. That means the square of souls. That's the meaning of the word Alma in Italian. And if you have a look on the right, you see the very nice company Bateau Mouche, probably the oldest one in Paris, called the boat Mouche, as all those boats have been constructed in the area of Mouche, not far away from Lyon, the gastronomic capital of France. Yeah. Paris has always been a crazy city, but it's a little bit more and more. So if you have a look on your left-hand side, after the bridge on your left, you're going to see a sculpture in a golden color. It's a copy of the flame that holds the Statue of Liberty in New York. And under this sculpture, there is the tunnel where took place the accident. If you see cars coming out or entering, this is a tunnel. And the Mercedes of Princess Diana crashed on the 13th column. So here, if you look everywhere, the name of the streets, above the name of the street there is always a little number. As for example, if you see here above this coffee shop, they have an Avenue of President Wilson, and above the number 8. That means that you are in the 8th district, as Paris is divided in 20 districts or arrondissements since 1860s. And right now we are in the very, very elegant and beautiful district 16th. We just moved to the number 16th, and we're going to see 2 museums. One on the left-hand side, we call it also Palace of Tokyo, Palais de Tokyo. It's modern art museum. It's a very modern restaurant as well. And on the right, we have a more traditional building called Giverny Museum, which is the fashion museum. In one of the world capitals of fashion, we have the Fashion Museum with amazing creations of Pierre Cardin, Yves Saint Laurent, Givenchy, and all the famous fashion designers of the 20th century, especially in France. International Fair, we empty too. And after they've been turned into museums. So the one on the left is the Museum of the Architecture and French Monuments, and the other one is the Museum of the Marine and the Anthropological Museum. But you can have a look between the two museums, and you have an amazing view to the Eiffel Tower. So Joris is going to slow down a little bit. Si vous pouvez ralentir, bien sûr. So, of course, there are many beautiful views to the Eiffel Tower, but this is also an exceptional one as well. I hope, no. Well, even if we're in the city center, I will have to tell you that we need to put our seatbelts. But please have a look here on the right, huh? This amazing tower. Là, avec ce petit monsieur là qui comprend pas ce qu'il fait là. A big percentage of the population of Paris are on holidays. People generally like to go everywhere, of course. A lot of people go to States. There are people really in love with New York or different other states, or those who cannot afford to go quite far away, they stay in France or in the countries very close to France, like Spain, for example, or Italy.
Ici aussi, je fais un peu.
Oui, c'est pas bouché, alors on peut.
Dans la baie. Dans la baie.
And a little bit further in the right, we're going to see the first hotel, who has been opened as a palace hotel. This one on the right, it's called Peninsula Hotel, and it's owned normally by the Qatari, the Prince of Qatar. This one on the right, Peninsula Hotel, a kind of 6-7 star hotel, very luxurious. Yeah, we have around 10 hotels here, like that. Well, there is only one owned by a French businessman. All the others are owned by different princes of the Emirates, more or less. And now we are approaching to the very famous monument, Arc de Triomphe. You've seen already that, but never mind.
That's okay. Many times is fine.
The temperature is good, all okay?
It's fine.
Mm-hmm. And so we are ready to enter in this crazy roundabout. You see that there are 12 avenues like a star. And we are going to admire Napoleon Bonaparte himself. So in the first facade on the left-hand side, we're going to see Napoleon Bonaparte is dressed like a Roman emperor. And he looks so tall and very athletic, of course, and down on his knees we can see on her knees Josephine, his first wife. But because they couldn't have children together, later on Napoleon got married to Marie-Louise, the princess from Austria. On the other side we have this winged lady, this winged Victory, guiding the French people to the revolution. It's considered to be the masterpiece of the first romantic sculpture by the artist François Rude. And under the arcs we can see the names of the most famous generals and the victorious battles of France. On the other facade here, as we turn on the left, you're going to see the representation of resistance, and you can see a young boy reading a book. Education is a way of resistance. Knowledge is resistance. And on the other side we have the misery of the war. Now, as we are in the roundabout, you can have a look on the right. Further away, you can see a white arch surrounded by modern buildings. That's the new city of La Défense. And now we're going to enter little by little in the most famous avenue, Champs-Élysées. But we were to say that here in Arc of Triumph, every afternoon at 6:30 p.m., they have a special celebration to honor all the unknown soldiers who lost their life for France. And actually an unknown soldier is buried there. They had a DNA test and he's a French unknown soldier. C'est toujours un peu embêtant ces trucs. And now we enter in the avenue of Champs-Élysées, one of the longest avenues. Have you heard a song about it? Champs-Élysées, yeah? From Joe Dassin. So we have the avenue, the Elysian fields, a kind of paradise in the ancient European mythology. And so here every summer, a few days ago, this year as well, took place the main parade, the military parade to celebrate the Bastille Day. Initially this avenue was just an avenue that has been designed for the Sun King, Louis XIV, who wanted to have a very beautiful avenue in order to get from his first palace, the Louvre, to his new palace in Versailles. And later on, at the late 19th century, little by little, the different engineers started to construct beautiful apartments. Of course, today very few people live here. 99% of the buildings are offices, hotels, different stores, cabaret. Also, of course, in Paris we have many French brands, like Five Guys, like the Island store on the left. And a little bit further also we're going to see the official store of Paris Saint-Germain, which is the local soccer team, here on the right. Very, very soon we are having the roundabout of Champs-Élysées, and we're going to continue to the second part of the avenue with no shops at all, only trees and gardens. And you can see then, now they're working, all those fountains here on the right and on the left. They look like rockets, like a space mountain, They cost around 6.5 million euros, and they are covered by crystal Swarovski. Even if Swarovski preferred to do a better price, 6.5 million euros still for 6 fountains, very modern ones, so Parisians don't appreciate them especially. But it's always the same way, people who direct the art and they make this kind of choices, they don't really care if we like it or not. They just want to visit France. So he is considered to be the one who succeeded to organize the French Resistance during World War II. And on the right we have this superb building under restoration, the Grand Palais. On our left-hand side, the Petit Palais, the two magnificent exhibition centers. Exhibition centers, so from 1900. The one on the left is a museum today, and the one on the right is always an exhibition center. Different music concerts are organized here. Peut-être on peut s'arrêter là, à droite, leur faire
À droite,
Il est à côté du fer rouge, hein, ou non? Ou- Sinon après au retour, c'est pas grave, c'est pas grave. On va faire une petite pause photo. So in front of us we have the most famous bridge called Alexander III Bridge from 1900. Every statue, every lady decorating the bridge represents an historical period of France. And at the end of the bridge there is the Golden Dome of Napoleon's tomb. We're going to see that later again. And now we are going to approach the Royal Square, but the statue of the King Louis XV has been replaced by the guillotine. So let's say that from here we can have view to Champs-Élysées, to the Eiffel Tower. Tu vas te mettre ici ou là-bas? Là-bas?
sinon, comme tu veux, moi.
Non mais c'est très bien, comme tu veux toi aussi.
That's the Champs-Élysées and the Arc de Triomphe from the Place de la Concorde. There's the Arc de Triomphe, and that's Champs-Élysées. And this is traffic and fountains and everything else in Place de la Concorde. The statues on the edge. Obelisk. Another fountain. This is what public spaces look like in Paris. Gorgeous.
It's a very beautiful building designed by the architect Charles Garnier. He was one of those men that, if you look there, you're going to see through the central arc the obelisk of Concorde Square and the Arch of Triumph. It's okay? Can you see a picture?
Yes.
Yeah. On peut pas passer par ouais, on peut pas passer là, on m'avait dit. Hein. On n'a pas le droit. On n'a pas le droit. The two towers, they are high, almost twice high, higher than the church on the interior part. And of course we have always the gargoyles standing there to keep away the evil spirits. Or sometimes we have the impression that they are ready to eat something. What this could be? People say that they want to eat humans' vanity, humans' egoism, to leave it outside of the church. So it's one of the 5 biggest churches in Europe, Catholic. Even if the church is dedicated to Virgin Mary, the main door is dedicated to Jesus Christ. Then the second level is the gallery of the kings with 28 statues. Those kings were supposed to symbolize, to represent the kings of the Bible. But during the revolution they've been linked to the kings of France and they've been beheaded. So today those heads are copies and the original ones are kept in the museum, the medieval art museum.
This is right here. I think this is the church Saint Séverin. It's beautiful. That's about the ceiling of Notre Dame used to look like. Reminds me a little bit of the Barcelona Cathedral, except the Barcelona Cathedral is larger.
A little bit smaller, called Triforium. Only for people when the church was really crowded, and the top floor with the windows and the stained glasses. Okay. And now we are in the street of Soufflot. Mr. Soufflot was the architect of Pantheon, and in this street there are many bookshops. So many students would like to live. And here we have this fountain, decorated by the statues of French cardinals who didn't succeed to become popes. À gauche. And we're very close now to what we call Montparnasse district. Montparnasse district has a symbol, a black high tower, modern tower. We're going to see it after the next traffic light on the left. Là, tu vas tout droit, tu continues comme les autres. It's considered to be real Paris, old Paris.